Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas, USA, the home of the Cowboys, and we are live on Dazn for Canelo Saunders. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We are sponsored by Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, Air Force Reserve, Tecate, Bet Online, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Orange Crush, and Valueway. All of tonight's bouts are sanctioned under the auspices of the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. The assistant manager is Jim Erickson. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside: Robert Chapa, David Iokabuchi, and Anthony Moss. And at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, referee Ruben Perez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the super lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red with the gold and white trim. He scaled 140.4 pounds, and he stands with his head trainer, David Dvorak. His professional record, 8 wins, 2 defeats, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Pardubice, Czech Republic, introducing Jan Marsalak. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands with his head trainer, Tyler Trask. He wears the navy blue and silver. He scaled 143.8 pounds. His young professional record thus far perfect: 1 fight, 1 victory, and that victory came by way of knockout. Fighting out of Norfolk, Virginia, introducing Kelvin Night Davis.
Okay, gentlemen, I give you instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Take a sip at all times. Trunks are good here. Trunks are good here. Gentlemen, touch them up.
Ruben Perez, ring referee, gives the instructions, and we're ready to go. The first 4 fights today before the bell. Thanks for joining us, Fight Fan. And they are punched in. Gloves are up and underway. Opening round of this scheduled 4 rounds, and already Marsalak finds himself on the canvas. A bit of a slip early. But there's Kelvin Davis, not wasting any time trying to get in early.
Like I had said when we opened, Kelvin Davis very relaxed in there, very professional style, takes his time, walks his man down, uses that southpaw jab like we see right there.
We're already starting to see the advantage. It's Marsalak who has the advantage as far as experience, fighting his 11th fight overall. That's 10 times as many times into the ring professionally as his opponent. But everything else skews Kelvin Davis's way. He's got a 5-inch advantage height-wise, 4 inches on the reach, and already the aggressive style coming to the forefront.
And already there we saw a little right hook to the body. And Kelvin Davis's pro debut, he threw some very effective body punches to get his opponent out of there pretty early.
Marsalak hailing from the Czech Republic. He was a former MMA fighter, had more than a dozen contests in the mixed martial arts format, but then decided, you know what, I've got a passion for boxing too. Put himself in the ring, finds himself with an 8-2 record, 7 knockouts. But he's going to have his hands full already, we can tell from the quickness, just the quick pop from Davis.
Yeah, the quickness and the range. Davis is doing a great job of using that right southpaw jab as a stick, keeping his man on the end of it, and just looking to line up that straight left hand.
Left hand starting to just find a little vulnerability right in between the gloves of Marsalak. Tapping Jan on the nose already a few times in this opening minute and a half.
You know, being a fighter who came from another combat sport, I was a kickboxer prior to boxing. You know, and now we got Marsalak coming from MMA. You know, there is a distinct transition period. It's a difficult thing to overcome. A lot of the techniques may overlap and bleed into each other. So we'll see if Marsalak has had a chance to figure that out yet.
Yeah, came to boxing late, did Jan Marsalak. 25 years of age when he decided that this was going to be his passion and his pursuit. Hasn't fought a lot in the 8 years since being a professional.
Ooh,
but now he's showing a little skill set of his own and some quick hands. That left hand starting to get through, finding the cheek of Davis.
I was going to say, Marsalak has 7 knockouts in his 8 wins, so he does carry some power in those hands, and we saw that there when he caught Davis getting tall along the ropes. That left hook hit him on the side of the ear there.
Yeah, that's a effective ratio. 8 wins, 7 by knockout for Marsalak. We'll see if he's now able to make the read, the adjustments after the peppering he took from Davis.
Yeah, I think Marsalak made a nice adjustment that you just mentioned. You know, he was staying on the outside, but now he's using a little bit of head movement, some feints to get himself inside and put some leather on Davis.
Yeah, so final bell on the opening round and a good exchange between the two after Davis looked to establish himself early as the aggressor. Things evening out as things finish. Yeah, again, 9 years difference between the two. We talk about the experience that Marsalak has, but it's not as if it's abundant and overwhelming. But for Kelvin Davis, just his second professional fight, a lot of questions, Chris, about what it takes to make that amateur step, if he would be able to really bring the skill set necessary for that next level.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult thing to do. They're really almost like different sports. You know, the amateur program going into the professional ranks, taking the headgear off, putting on those small gloves, thinking less about points and more about doing damage.
Yeah, for Marsalak, as he was able to turn things around, there's the left hand that's able to get in, just grazing the chin, but enough to be a wake-up call for Davis.
Yeah, for sure. Davis made a little mistake there. He moved back straight along the ropes with his head up in the air. That's what you do not want to do as a tall fighter. The shorter fighter can throw over the top and catch you.
Also responding very well, he realizes when that reach comes from Davis, Davis extends himself. Marsalak, if he's able to, kind of duck that, he can get in, maybe tight, and deliver a couple blows from close range as round 2 gets underway.
Having a longer reach is beneficial from the outside, but not on the inside.
Safe to say, in this case, as Marsalak looks to crowd in, almost get inside the trunks of Davis, he wants this to be a eyeball-to-eyeball fight.
Yeah, he wants to put his head on his chest and bang away at the body and over the top. Make it ugly, make it rough. Marsalak being very aggressive here, using his head movement, getting low. You know, he does have that MMA background, so almost looking like he's a wrestler trying to shoot in on his opponent.
Yeah, interesting that David Dvorak is in the corner for Marsalak. He is a MMA fighter currently who's going to be fighting in a week's time on a UFC card. He is acting as the corner for the Czech. They'll swap places in 7 days' time, as it will be Marsalak in the corner, former MMA fighter who's training Dvorak. What is the skills that brought for you when you made that transition from MMA to boxing that really you benefited, were able to use that as sort of the springboard?
You know, for me, I think we're seeing that even tonight now as well. It's just the professional experience. You know, being in tough fights, not fighting without a headgear for 20 fights prior to having my pro debut. So I had that experience of a combat sport where you had to protect yourself and had to have good defense.
That right hand from Davis, still trying to just find a bit of length to set up the left hand. Marsalak doing well to duck and move and stay out of the way. Just as a finishing thought, the epilogue 4-7-1 as an MMA fighter was Marsalak before making the transition to his current 8-2 status as a pro. Big cut from the right hand, but missing as the Czech found nothing but air.
Davis doing a good job of maintaining that height and reach, using a sneaky straight left hand, just really pot-shotting at this point. I'd like to see him let his hands go, put combinations together. Good head movement there from the 6'1" super lightweight.
Yeah, for Davis to be ducking and getting out of the way, is that a sense of Marsalak maybe telegraphing his punches a bit, or is it just the quickness of Davis to get out?
Probably a combination of the two. You know, Davis is recognizing the big swinging shots, and Marsalak is focusing more on the head, which I don't recommend. You have a tall guy with a long torso. You want to start at the body first, work your way up.
Yeah, member of the Norfolk 3 that is now the DB3. Davis Brothers 3 is the brand that Kelvin and Keon and the man we'll see later in our third fight, Keyshawn Davis. They're very proud of their roots in Norfolk, and of course it's got some good pedigree that's come from there previously.
Yeah, one being the Sweet Pea Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Oh, good straight left hand there from Davis.
And able to follow it up, attacking the body and also getting one right on the crown of Marsalak's head as the ring the ring of the bell comes to end the round. But Davis starting to score some good points and get the upper hand as the round finishes.
Excellent finish to the round there for Davis. Finished really strong, firing a straight left hand off the ropes. Got his man hurt for a moment there.
That is going to be absolutely electric as the evening goes on in this stadium that houses the Dallas Cowboys NFL franchise. 80,000 strong when filled to capacity for American football. They're expecting Chris tonight, and get this, in what we are in the midst of still a pandemic and what has been going on with sports, 70,000 expected for Canelo Saunders by the conclusion.
That is music to my ears. Boxing is back. Live events are back. It's so great to be here. It's going to be a tremendous amount of energy in here.
Yeah, a lot of precautions being taken for the fighters as well as the staffs for the crew from Matchroom as we get a look at that.
There's this shot that I said at the end of the round. Davis moved towards the rope, changed directions, fired a straight left hand, and then right on the chin of his opponent. Good round for Davis. Was able to put in some real damage.
Yeah, precautions at the hotel as well as getting out here, but now it's all about getting down to the nitty-gritty and exchanging some leather between Marsalak and Davis. As we saw the replays at the end of the second round, starting to notice that perhaps that right hand, getting that little just movement on it, has given Marsalak a couple of fits because he's actually ended up right in the sights of the left.
Yeah, and that's something that, Davis has been doing quite well at this point, using the right to land the left. He definitely seems like the straight left hand is his punch of choice.
Also, we'll see if Marsalak can protect himself. He seems to be dropping his gloves a little bit here. He's doing so much work to avoid the long reach of Davis that he leaves himself a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, and Davis is really just looking to line up that straight left hand. You see him, he's starting to get the timing of Jan and starting to pick those left hands as Marsalak is moving his head. Wrestling there on the inside.
Ruben Perez saying, hold on, guys. Part now re-engage, making sure to keep order restored.
Yeah, you notice Davis doesn't use a snapping jab. It's much more of a pawing jab. He uses that 74-inch reach, keeps his opponent on the end, looking to really line up that straight left hand rather than do damage with the jab itself.
Mentioned this is just the second professional fight for Kelvin Davis. He made his pro debut in Los Angeles, fighting in a Ring City event last December where he got a second-round knockout of Michael Onesto. Not bad for the pro debut, and as mentioned, we had 3 fighters on this before the bell card that are unblemished in the early nascent stages of their career, as Kelvin seeks a 2-0 record. Now it's pick and choose time. Kelvin Davis looking for a target. He is just rearing back the bow, hoping that arrow is just going to find its way through to the bullseye.
Yeah, you see him. He's using his eyes really well right now, trying to get his range and his timing. He was timing Marsalak well on the way in earlier in the round. Now is really just trying to kind of line up the power shots to get this. Get his man out of there. I think he hit him there, hurt him there with the straight left hand. Marsalak a little reckless at this point, looking for Hail Mary shots. He's having a lot of trouble getting past the range.
And starting to get stung. You're starting to see the battle here, the attrition of those right hand, then left hand follows by Davis that are finding their mark, starting to take something out of Jan. And a little more animation from Davis now as he senses some vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a great job of settling the pace down, using his height and his reach, but he's definitely starting to do some more damage. You see a lot of red marks on the face of Jan Marsalak.
Yeah, and the body language of the two, it's Davis who comes out of his stance, that very fortified split stance where he was just trying to pick his target versus all of the effort that Marsalak has had to make. He just looks a little worse for wear. What will Marsalak have to try to accomplish here with his final round coming up? He's got to score some points. He's got to go for something big.
As far as I'm concerned, he's down 3 rounds to nothing. Kelvin Davis has been in total control, has actually hurt his man a few times. I think that Marsalak has to go for broke this round. He's got to look for the knockouts. He's got to look for those big shots upstairs. It's never too late to go to the body, but I do believe that he needs to start really ringing some big shots upstairs.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. That points mean nothing at this point for Marsalak. He's got to go for big and broke and knock it out because this has been a one-sided fight.
That's the beautiful thing about boxing. Yeah. The points oftentimes don't matter because knockouts are the end-all be-all.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying earlier about Kelvin Davis was able to time his opponent as he was coming in, doing a great job of catching him on the way in with both left and rights.
And the final round in this scheduled 4-round bout, as Kelvin Davis is just a couple minutes away from a 2-0 start to his professional career, unless there is something very, very hidden in the bag of tricks for Marsalak.
I love seeing a tall fighter fighting tall. He understands, he has the range. That's one thing a fighter can ever do. You can't grow. You either have the range or you don't. And Kelvin Davis certainly does, and he's using it to his advantage.
Well, Davis knows that he's got the upper hand now, and he's starting to toy with Marsalak just a bit. You saw a little bit of that rope-a-dope and a little tap of the glove on the top of the head. That didn't sit well with Jan, but that might, if that little flare-up of emotion, that actually could backfire for Marsalak. He has to be really composed here if he's going to go for that big cut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Davis is doing a great job of timing him, hitting him. He has hurt him, and so Marsalak has to be aware that the guy in front of him can do some damage as well. But it's got to be go for broke. But you got to understand, you got to be smart about it.
Go back a little bit to what you were saying about fighting tall. At 6'1", he's got 5-inch advantage over Marsalak. Is it a matter of just standing up straight, or expand on that a little bit more?
No, definitely not standing up straight, because you can get hit with clean shots when you stand up straight. You really have to focus on keeping your opponent outside of your reach. When you have a height and reach advantage, you're able to hit them before they can hit you. So keeping them outside that range, that critical distance point, is extremely important for a tall fighter to learn how to do early on.
Kelvin Davis doesn't lack for confidence. He says, I can see myself in a world title fight on TV someday. I got no doubt. Coming from the same town, Norfolk, Virginia, as Sweet Pea Whitaker, well, he was able to do it. He set the path. Now somebody else has to follow on it too. So Davis certainly feels like he's got the sky's the limit as his talent.
Good shots from Marsalak here. He's done well in the middle portion of this 4th round, landing some shots on the inside. You saw a nice right uppercut to the chin there that got the attention of Davis.
Big roundhouse left from Marsalak, just not able to find the mark. That's really been the hallmark of this bout. Marsalak, he's been using extensive effort to try to find a way to get in. Oh, and there is a contact that he was looking for. Jan Marsalak rings the bell of Kelvin Davis. And just as everybody was assuming it was done and dusted for Davis, Marsalak makes a whole lot of noise.
What an unexpected turn of events there. Davis still looks hurt. Looking on wobbly legs here.
And he's just trying to ride this out. He's hoping the last second skip past, as Marsalak has a moment, and that's it. Done. Boy, wow. There was some bruising and damage done by the Czech.
Talk about saved by the bell.
Truly. Wow. What an unforeseeable shot that came in. Certainly Kelvin Davis didn't see it coming.
No, not myself either. But I was saying before that Marsalak was getting in there, starting to land some shots, got the attention of Davis. But, man, what a shocker. Overhand right puts down Kelvin Davis in his second fight.
Now talk a little bit about the mindset for Davis. I mean, Marsalak did well to represent himself, but seemed overmatched, and ultimately the fight will go Davis's way. But being tagged like that, so close to when you thought this fight was over, what's that going to do? A lingering effect?
It's going to mean he's got to go back to the drawing board and keep working on his technique, work on staying long, and get his timing a little bit better. Because right there, he went to throw an uppercut, his chin was on the line, Marsalak had the overhand right coming in, and boom, we see the effect right there.
So we will await the word from David Diamante as the judges now start to confer and talk things over. It seems like a foregone conclusion the way the first 3.5 rounds went, but boy, did Jan Marsalak make some noise and really touch Davis deeply with some power that sent him to the canvas just to say, listen, you might take this, but you'll remember what happened here. Not forget Marsalak, the former MMA fighter, representing well at the conclusion. But will it be enough, as the judges' cards will be brought into the ring and handed to David Diamante? Marsalak already into the center ring with Ruben Perez. It's going to be Davis who just needs to compose himself. Boy, did he look wobbly as he waited for that bell to ring, and finally the savior, Ting Ting, came to fruition. And now Davis will get those gloves off and find out exactly what the ultimate decision has been from the judges. The first of 2 members of the DB3, hoping that he improves now to 2-0 as a professional. Fans starting to stream in, as we mentioned, expecting 70,000 plus to be here in AT&T Stadium, formerly known as Cowboy Stadium, where the NFL franchise Dallas Cowboys, they do their battle on the gridiron. Those gladiators, their pads and helmets. This is all exposed boxing. This is fighting at its finest. Toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye, mano-a-mano. And no disappointment in the opening 4 rounds for us on our Before the Bell coverage from Arlington, Texas. Next up, we'll see something of a turf war of sorts. A Texan versus fighter from Mexico, as Xavier Wilson will step into the ring. Hails from San Antonio, Texas, as he takes on Mexico's Christian Alan Gomez Duran. Time to hear from David Diamante and the judge's decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing here in Arlington, Texas, we go to the judges' score totals. All 3 judges scored this bout identically, 38-37 for your winner by unanimous decision. He's still undefeated, Kelvin Night Night Davis.